The last thing my father ever said to me before I left home was, "You'll never be anything without me." Years later, when my phone rang late one night, his voice was weak and for the first time he was asking me for help. My name is Michael Carter. I'm his son. And for most of my life, I was the example he used when he wanted to explain failure. Growing up, my father believed fear was the best teacher. Praise was rare. Silence was common. Criticism was constant. If I brought home a report card with straight A's, he'd point at the one comment that wasn't perfect. If I talked about something I loved, writing, business ideas, even hobbies, he'd shake his head and say, "That's not real life. You're wasting your time." He never hit me. He never yelled much either. He did something worse. He made me feel small. At family gatherings, he'd joke about me in front of relatives. "Michael's still figuring things out," he'd laugh. Everyone else would smile politely while I stared at my plate. My younger cousins started passing me in life. College acceptances, promotions, engagements, and every time my father would glance at me like proof of his point. "You see," he'd say, "some people just don't have it." When I told him I'd been accepted into a program he didn't approve of, he didn't argue. He didn't try to stop me. He just said the sentence that stayed with me for years: "You'll never succeed without me." I packed my bags that night. I wish I could say everything got better right away. It didn't. I moved into a tiny room with thin walls and a mattress on the floor. I worked long hours at jobs I didn't love just to survive. There were nights I stared at the ceiling, wondering if he was right. Every rejection felt personal. Every setback felt like confirmation. But something changed slowly. I stopped trying to prove him wrong and started trying to prove myself right. I learned how to listen, how to take responsibility, how to fail without quitting. Years passed. I built a career piece by piece. Not flashy, not perfect, just real. I didn't talk about it online. I didn't post wins or announce milestones. I didn't even tell my family much. Honestly, I thought my father didn't care. We barely spoke. Sometimes a short call, sometimes nothing for months. Then one night, my phone rang after midnight. I almost didn't answer. When I did, I barely recognized his voice. It was quieter, unsteady. He said my name and stopped talking. Finally, he said, "I need help." I learned that his business, the one he'd built his identity around, had collapsed. Health problems followed. The same people who once surrounded him were gone. He didn't ask for money directly. He just asked if I could help him understand some paperwork. When we met, he looked older than I remembered. Smaller. He avoided my eyes. For the first time in my life, he didn't speak like a man in control. I helped him, not because he asked nicely, not because he apologized, but because somewhere along the way, I had become the man he said I never would. As we worked through everything, he finally looked at me and said, quietly, "I didn't think you'd make it." There was no anger in his voice, just regret. I didn't throw his words back at him. I didn't remind him of the past. I just nodded, because I didn't need his approval anymore. That night, as I drove home, I realized something important. The goal was never to hear him say, "I'm proud of you." The goal was to reach a place where I didn't need to hear it. Success didn't change my father. It changed me. And sometimes that's the only victory that actually matters.